Welcome to Long Brothers Reviews, the show where sibling rivalry meets the cinema as two brothers rate and debate movies past, present, and coming soon. That's my brother Mike.
And that's my brother Todd. And today's film is It Follows, starring Marika Monroe, Keir Gilchrist, and Olivia Luccardi, written and directed by David Robert Mitchell.
This week's order was decided by a comparison of our cholesterol levels. So, Mike, you're up first.
It Follows is about a monster that takes any form and follows you until it gets tired of walking and then it kills you. The twist is that the monster doesn't latch onto you until someone being followed by the monster has sex with you. This is simpler than it sounds and scarier than it sounds, probably because the threat toys with you for so long before it takes action. A lot of dread there. The movie's getting good press because it steps a little outside the evolution and categories of scary movies. Basically, there are three, if you haven't thought about it. We have monsters, we have the occult, and we have stories shot from the killer's point of view. This is a monster movie about dread. You can imagine a lot of metaphors as you watch it, and will surprise you with its tension and imagery. I say see it, but don't believe the hype.
Well, every few years, speaking of hype, there'll be an independent horror film that will come along, and we're told it's going to scare us beyond belief, and it's going to redefine the horror genre. And despite what you may have heard from the Hollywood hype machine, It Follows is not that picture. In fact, the only thing it seems to follow is every tired cliche from every horror film you've ever seen. And it tries to make up for what I consider to be a rather weak story with occasional quirky camera shots and lots of bare breasts. To me, there's really nothing new or clever or even scary about this film. I came away from it very disappointed, and I'm saying skip it.
I think the reason it gets so much good press is because the threshold is so low for horror movies to be considered special. We're going to see a lot of these, and I'm a big fan of the genre, but I think of it as sort of like mining. Sort of like, because you see a lot of stuff, but is there something special in there? Which I guess mining is a bad metaphor, isn't it? It's rare to see something good, but when you do, you know you're in the presence of a talent.
I came away from this film thinking this is a metaphor for herpes. Because what happens is the only way it follows one person, and then when that person has sex with another person, now it's following that person. But the other person can still see the thing that's following. It's just not attacking them now, it's attacking someone else. But if something happens to that person, guess what? It's going to come back after you. It never goes away. It's transmitted through sexual contact. It never goes away, and it can pop up at any time. They should be showing this film in sex ed classes in high school to scare kids about herpes. That's the best use of this film.
And they may get herpes because these kids have the most lax parents on earth. We've seen Charlie Brown's mother more often than we've seen these parents.
Yeah, these kids will disappear for hours, sometimes days at a time. No one seems to miss them. Even the high school kid who passes this on to the star, the female lead of our film, he's got the most normal parents of the group. We actually meet his mother, and she seems very nice, in a very nice suburban household. This kid has rented his own house in the slums of Detroit, where he's hiding out from this thing. Nobody apparently seems to know that he's got this shanty in off of 8 Mile.
There's no barrier of security that they can't overcome.
Right.
There's a castle, basically, which they tell us, by the way, is a gymnasium. Now, I don't know how that happens. And to get in it, you have to climb some huge steel fence. Well, the next thing you know, old Jed's a millionaire. They're right across that fence. They've broken in somehow. No alarm's gone off. The lights are on. They've somehow snuck in about 400 pounds of equipment.
My first thought was, okay, well, this is some abandoned place, and they're going back there. No, this is an immaculately kept, obviously still being kept up, Olympic-sized swimming pool.
And somehow no one's there during the prime day.
Yeah. The scene in the movie where they've constructed this elaborate plan to where they can destroy the it, for lack of a better term. And at one point in trying to spring this trap, one of the kids of our happy little band shoots one of the others in the leg. No repercussions whatsoever. Cops don't get involved. Parents aren't even at the hospital. When we see her at the hospital later, she's sitting there eating like a chicken salad sandwich, reading the Iliad, and her friends are sitting there sleeping, and it's like, oh yeah, she's getting her hair done, and we're waiting. She just nearly had her leg blown off by her little teenage buddy there.
One of them has this bizarre compact that opens out. That it's like a Kindle that folds over, and she's reading classic literature, and there's no device like this, and it's supposed to mean something.
I thought, well, she's got her birth control pill thing open for some reason, and then she's reading on this tiny little screen.
6 lines of text, basically, that's it. So you're constantly doing this. It's a kind of thing you imagine you'll see at Dollar Tree in 10 years.
There's one point where they concoct the idea that, okay, well, here's the only way we can save our... this guy's going to martyr himself. The only way I can save you is to have sex with you. So he has sex with her, so it'll start following him, and then we see him hitting on like 3 girls, but we never know. Did he sleep with them? Didn't he sleep? The implication is that now he's going to pass it on to somebody else, but it's never really made clear if that ever happens.
My favorite moment.
I think I know what you're going to say.
Yes. She's desperate to find someone to give this thing to, and so she goes to the lake, she takes her clothes off, dives in the water, and swims to a boat with 3 Broheims on it. and the assumption is she's going to have sex with the Broheims.
Yeah.
And apparently this doesn't fix anything, but I just want to say for the record, I've been on a boat once or twice. I've never, ever had a woman swim up, hop in the boat, and offer to have sex with me and my friends.
I can't recall that I've had that happen either. No.
This may happen. It could be that I lead a sheltered life.
It could just be a Detroit thing.
It may be. It may be more Midwest than Southern or East Coast.
Regional, yeah. But there's 2 things these kids really like. Having sex and drinking off-brand soda. They're always drinking like Cola Buzz.
Yeah. It's
Dr. Pop or something.
Dr. Pop. It's as if the producer said, Coke, you don't want it to be in our movie? Pepsi, you don't want it to be? Fine, we'll make up names. Boom.
Yeah.
And they're very prominent. It's never in the backgrounds. Like, you see a big Coke machine in a mainstream picture. In this picture, they basically shove Dr. Pop into the camera as if they're getting a deal from the imaginary soda company. And the director says everything in this movie has a meaning. Now, I teach at a university, and we talk to some extent about metaphors, but this is beyond me, okay? I don't know what this means.
I think the meaning was he couldn't sign a product placement deal. And that's it for this episode. Thanks for watching, and check us out on Facebook and Twitter to find out more and to ask us about your favorite films.
So until next time, that is my brother Todd.
And that's my brother Mike saying, you're going to need a bigger boat.